Greek architects provided some of the finest and most distinct buildings in the world. This is a quote according to Mark Cartwright, and he published his article on January 6, 2013, and he is credible because he has an MA in Greek philosophy, traveled to many places including Greece, and has written many other articles. There are many famous buildings that people know of that are in Greece, such as the Parthenon and the Temple of Olympian Zeus, which we will look at today. So, during this speech, I will talk about the history of Greek architecture, famous buildings found in Greece, and how to visit and see the beautiful architecture. So how many people have ever wanted to travel out of the country? Yes, it is a very popular thing that is on many people's bucket lists, and I've always wanted to go to Greece. So this is one of the reasons I chose this for my topic, and I think it's important to know a little bit about the place before you go there, just so you have a better understanding. And my family lives in Greece. My grandma's sisters are from Greece, and I've always just thought it'd be cool to go there, and I've always been curious about my heritage and stuff, so that's another reason. And I've always loved art, and Greece is known for their architecture. And I've done a lot of research for this speech. So first we will start with the history of Greek architecture. So many of the buildings were created around 460 BCE, and they're still standing, so they are very old. And this is from Cartwright again, and he published this article January 6, 2013, and he's credible for the many articles he's written and traveling to Greece. And many of the temples were created to tell a story. A quote from Cartwright, he said, "They carried architectural structure arranged to tell a narrative." And this is all talking about Greek mythology. Many of the temples are based on a Greek god, and they're dedicated to them. And there are also many different periods of Greek architecture. The top, this one, is Minoan, this is classical, medieval, and Ottoman. These aren't all of them, but these are just a few examples of the different styles they have in Greece. And this is according to Greeka, published in 2012, and they're credible because of the many articles written about Greece and how they specialize on the topic. Next, we will talk about the famous buildings now that we know a little bit about the history. Since the buildings are so old, they have had to be restored just to keep them standing, and this is according to Greeka as well when they were published in 2012, and they're credible for their many articles about Greece and how they specialize on the topic. And a lot of the buildings have common themes, and one of the common themes is the tall column layout, as shown in this one. And this is from Nira Kui, and she published her article on November 10th, 2016, and she is credible because of the many articles she's written and her experience with studying architecture. And so another common theme is theaters and stadiums. Temples are the most common of all the architectural buildings, but theaters and stadiums are also very well known. And now to touch on one of the famous buildings or architecture structures is the Temple of Olympian Zeus. And this is very famous because it's one of the largest temples that was ever made in the ancient world. They started building this several centuries ago, starting in 174 BCE. So that was a very long time ago. And it's in Athens, and it was claimed to be an ancient sanctuary to Zeus. And this is from another article written by Cartwright in 2015. And he's credible because of his experiences in Greece as well. And this is the Temple of Olympian Zeus. So it has the tall column layout, and it's very, very large and very old. And finally, we will discuss how to visit Greece and the great architectural structures. So you could go on a $2,000 trip, which is a guided tours, and they take you around these places right here. And there would be a tour guide, and they would give you information about each of the structures. And this is from, according to Go Ahead Tours, published in 2017, and they are credible because of their great reviews and many sponsors, such as the United States Tour Operators Association. Or you could go and venture to Greece on your own, and I think this would be a great way too if you don't want to spend a fortune. But just to look at the architectural buildings, I think knowing a little bit about the history and a little information about each one will help you be more interested in and have a better appreciation for the architecture. So this is kind of just what the town looks like with the houses. The flat white buildings are very common within homes and stuff in Greece. And so to sum up, we talked about the history of Greek architecture and when they were created around 460 BCE and how they're still standing and how they tell a story from Greek mythology. And we talked about the different periods, and then we talked about famous buildings and the common themes with the column layouts, and we talked about the Temple of Olympian Zeus, and this is the Parthenon, so just yeah. And then we talked about how to visit them, and you could go on guided week trips, or you could adventure on your own, and just to know a little bit about the history before you go. And so instead of looking at pictures and trying to get a feel for the architecture through a screen, I hope we all get to go check it out in person someday, or wherever you want to travel to.
Awesome, great job.